Hi, Mike Hose with Stand Up for All Kids, here to share a little bit. I'm here with Tammy Craig and Cecilia Craig. They were recipients of the testing for 2019. We're here to share about the event that's coming up November 21st, and it's going to be at the Sharon Town Hall from 6 to 8, and we'll be having some gluten-free pasta. There'll be Santa there, so you can bring the kids, get the photos. I'll be doing a presentation there, just sharing a little bit information about Stand Up for All Kids, the testing, things of that nature. So hope you guys can make it. Really passionate about what I do and trying to help more kids because, myself, I dealt with a lot of health issues, a lot of respiratory issues, croup and bronchitis and headaches and joint pain and always getting injured. So I never really paid much attention to my nutrition. But if you look at the normal, right, what we call normal for the childhood of kids today, you can look at the statistics and see that, a lot of kids overweight, a lot of kids dealing with learning disabilities, ADHD, asthma, autism is on the rise. I know a lot of people talk about that. So really, I've been working with kids like 2016, 2017. I was helping kids with autism, ADHD, asthma, allergies. And then I wanted to work with athletes. So if you caught the first episode, you might have seen Shane Corp came and he shared his story. He was really the first kid that was chosen. And then after that, we decided to come up with the shirts. And as you can see, I'm wearing a shirt, I'm wearing the hat. Tammy's got the shirt on too. So I came up with the idea that if you bought a shirt, you donate $20, or if you buy a shirt, you can get a raffle ticket. And then if you decide to help, I need help sharing this message to other people. So if you take the shirt and you post it on social media to help me share this message, you're gonna get another raffle ticket. So Tammy, she ended up, posting with her shirt on Facebook and tagged me in it, and she ended up getting another raffle ticket. So I brought the tickets with me. There was only 13, people in the actual contest. So on November 11th, Shane came. He picked out of a hat. He chose who was going to win, and Tammy was picked, and her daughter was picked. And I think I probably should describe, maybe, or talk a little bit about Swirly here, because he's on the shirt and he's giving thumbs up, and so a little bit about Swirly and a little bit more about me is that I'm a Dr. Sears lean health coach, and some of you might know Dr. Sears. I'm a huge fan of him. He makes it simple. He likes to have fun with the kids. I love making it fun with the kids. He wrote a book called Dr. Pooh. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands. And usually when people see this, they usually laugh, right? I mean, It's usually kind of funny. So that's a little story about Swirly and why he's on my shirt. And then if you need to kind of follow the shirts too, you'll see there's hashtags. So if you follow the Stand Up for All Kids, or if you follow Team Swirly, that's anybody that's helping me. So anybody that's helping me generate money that then I put back into Stand Up for All Kids, that's Team Swirly. So you can learn a little bit more about that. You can just send me an email if you're interested. So they were chosen, and the testing that they receive is an IgG food sensitivity test and also a hair mineral analysis test. So we'll go over a little bit about the results that Cecilia got. I'm going to call her Cece because everybody calls her Cece. So this is the food sensitivity test, and you can see if it's in the green, eat as much as you want. If it's in the yellow, you should maybe eat it just a couple times a week. And if it's in the red, just avoid it. So you can see dairy, eggs, or some triggers. So we wanted to kind of tweak on that a little bit. And then it also checks other foods, which you can see grains and vegetables. So the other things that popped up that I'll really highlight is gluten and wheat. So this is probably the most common that you'll see out there. You'll see dairy, eggs, gluten, but not always those three. Those are the three most common, but it could be bananas, it could be different things. So I really like the testing. I don't like to guess, and that's why when I help kids, especially through Stand Up for All Kids, the nonprofit, I always get them the testing so I can be as more accurate as possible. So once I got the test results back, I set up a little in-home meeting with Tammy and Cece, and there's a picture of us that the day I went over there, I kind of shared a little bit about the results. It can be a little bit overwhelming, and sometimes I feel like the Grinch when I have to tell these kids, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, you got to give up dairy, you got to give up ice cream, it can be overwhelming for sure. So I always like to go, and what we did is we went through the fridge. I had Cece. It was very interactive, and Cece got into the refrigerator, and maybe would you like to share a little bit about
Sure.
that day?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So Mike came over to our home, and he sat down one-on-one with Cecilia, and he went over her results. And I love the results because those kids can see right there exactly what foods, their bodies can and cannot tolerate. And the colors, those yellow, green, reds, oranges, was so easy for Cecilia to see that. Any kid can utilize that to their benefit. So we went into the fridge in the cupboard and we just pulled some stuff out, and Mike talked to her and taught her how to look at the labels, and then showed her her results, teaching her what she should look for and what not to look for, and to avoid when consuming, the products. And we've tried to make some big changes in our house since then, and Cecilia's been overall a great trooper in regards to it. We've eliminated cow's milk altogether, and drink nothing but almond milk now since then. We went from, because you came and shared at our Empower Youth Retreat, so we went from using, just any ketchup to now only having organic ketchup. We don't use sugar in our home anymore. We use all natural. And then, she started incorporating more apples because Mike came to the home and said, listen, Celia, you need to be eating apples. So now I have to say, so you need to eat apples. Mike says you need to eat apples. So lots more fruits and vegetables for sure. And just her trying new stuff. She's willing to try it because she knows it's good for her. So.
Yeah, one of the things that I would share with the kids about the apples is if it had a nutritional label on it, I show them how many nutrients, right? There's like 11,000 phytonutrients in an apple. And my grandfather used to have a story that said a deer would walk a mile for the energy that it gets from an apple. So it's really important to try to eat those apples more frequently. So we went over the results and we made some changes, right, gradually. One of the first things was the dairy. But really, I guess what was the most impactful thing I would ask is what kind of health issues she was dealing with, and maybe what the doctors have noticed you shared with me.
So we went to her asthma allergist because Celia has asthma and she has allergies. So we went to that doctor in January 2018, and that doctor said, I'm sorry, it was July 2018. He said he was shocked that she hadn't already had a heart attack and that she's still alive. And that was a huge eye-opener to me, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why is my kid even in this predicament? And he was saying because of all the medicine she was putting into her body, because her trying to fight off her asthma and the reaction she was having in regards to it. So I just felt like I had to do something as her mom to try to take more of a proactive stance in helping her get healthier. And so that's when I decided myself, I had to lead by example. So I then chose to do the hair testing in the blood test in regards to see what, my own results, because I wanted to see what I was doing with my kid. So those tests came back, and then I was able to encourage Cecilia to do it as well. And let me tell you, the testing is easy peasy. I thought Cecilia would be upset about getting her finger pricked. She was a trooper, no big deal. Takes a second, done. And then you get those results, and you get to see that firsthand. Is amazing. So I think the biggest difference in our home was just being conscious. Now we are more aware of the foods we're putting in our mouth. It makes us think twice. Is this going to make me feel good? Should I even be eating this? How will this fuel me for the day? How is this going to fuel me for my soccer game? So just being consciously aware of the foods that we're consuming. So we went back then to her allergist just in August this year, 2019. And I'll tell you, Cecilia started being more aware of the food she was eating, incorporating more of the healthier things I talked about earlier, taking the Juice Plus vitamins, the gummies, which I know she loves. So would you not agree? Do you enjoy taking those? It's like eating candy for her. She wants to eat those vitamins. So she ended up taking those vitamins, and we, were checking the way she was, the food she was consuming, went back to her doctor about a year later, and he said he was shocked. He was amazed how well she was doing. He couldn't even believe that she could run cross country and then also play soccer as much as she did. So she had a big leap from just 1 year, and the doctor saying to me, which was just panic mode on my behalf, I cannot believe she has not had a heart attack and she's not dead yet, to, oh my gosh, I cannot even believe that she can do all this right now in just a year.
Yeah, so that's just absolutely great stuff. Definitely. So one of the things that I want to touch on is that doing it like so. I'm glad that Tammy actually was proactive and she did the testing so she could experience it for herself, because it takes I got to build up a lot of trust, especially when we're working with somebody's children. I did the testing, so I experienced it firsthand, so I know what I felt. But it's hard to know what somebody else is feeling, and sometimes it's hard to know exactly what might be triggering this asthma, or another response, or a skin rash. And usually we find answers with the food sensitivity test. The hair mineral analysis test, the athletes, I can tell you, they usually have less toxins and better detox pathways and immune markers, which I saw with Cecilia. So she was doing all the right stuff. She just wasn't really knowing about the foods, which it took me 44 years to figure this out. Mm-hmm. So I dealt with a lot of health issues and then finally found it out. The other thing that Tammy mentioned a little bit about was the Juice Plus product. And you can see that because I take it, I can sponsor a child to get theirs for free. So because Tammy's taking some of the Juice Plus product, then Cecilia will get hers for free for up to 4 years. And it's just another way to get kids to get more fruits and vegetables into their system, non-GMO, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colorants. I just like it because it has a nutritional label. It's one of the products that I go to because 78% of Ohioans just don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. And if you look it up for yourself, you'll see that that's what's recommended as a healthy diet. So I recommend kids to eat more foods, bananas, and we made some changes a little bit. I don't try to overwhelm the kids. I definitely try to make it fun. So actually at one of her games, she just recently was in, she plays soccer, and you can see her jersey, which, Tammy noticed it when we had the photo that she's number 4. And of course, number 4,
yeah.
Every time I do anything, I don't do FOR anymore. My mind's thinking about the kids, and you'll see I use the number 4 a lot, but it was just kind of really cool. Maybe fate, maybe by chance, that she's number 4, and she plays for the international soccer team. And she was, they just had their final tournament, and I went out. I was able to go over the weekend and watch this superstar play. I was absolutely astonished, and you can see a photo of us there. I brought carrots, and that's just one of the things. I always bring some food with the kids. Yeah, I'm going to tell them to take their Juice Plus, but I'm also going to tell them to eat, the fruits and vegetables in the whole food form. And there's a fun fact that I also shared about the carrots, because let's face it, kids won't always eat the carrots unless they maybe are educated a little bit about it. So you can see that 3 carrots, right, is enough energy to walk 3 miles. So I want to make sure these athletes that I'm coaching through nutrition has maybe an edge, right? Because just that little extra edge to get through the game. And that game, I got to watch. She had 3 goals, right, in the championship game. And the video of one of them was amazing. She had a one-touch goal between 2 blockers and hooked it around the goalie. And I keep watching it, and I shared it on Facebook. So I thought, to me, it was one of the most amazing. I could be a little biased, but if you see it, I think it's an amazing
and
shot.
And she'll tell you that's not
it's
her
no big
greatest.
deal, right?
Yeah, no big deal.
But I'm very fortunate, to be able to have this opportunity myself and to have my health back, and I'm just trying to share back with others. And we definitely try to make it fun. And I was just over with Cecilia and Tammy and her younger sister Athena. She's catching some of this stuff too. Even though she wasn't picked, she's learning some of this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's been a whole family affair. That's what I love about it. Like, just being somewhat focused on Celia has forced us all to focus. So it's now become a whole family thing. So I'm learning right along with them.
And it's just stuff that I've learned, especially through Dr. Sears and all the people and the things that I researched when I was having so many health issues. But, for Cecilia, when, you can go back and look at her test results, she needed to give up dairy, she needed to give up eggs, and she needed to give up gluten. So what I did is I took over a waffle mix that was dairy-free, gluten-free, and egg-free, which, a lot of people go like, how are you going to do that? So I came over, I made it fresh, and I let them try it, and what did you think of the waffles?
They were good. I liked them.
They were good. So almost everybody,
They were very
they're like,
good.
they're
Yeah,
very good.
They were
So
very good.
almost everybody is like a little bit like, are these going to taste good? They're a little bit nervous, right?
And we tried the dairy-free ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Celia loves her ice cream, so.
So I always like to give a little bit. So if I got somebody that doesn't like to eat an apple, I'll take a little bit of caramel dip. I say, okay, you got to give and take a little bit. So if they're gonna eat the apples, if they dip it into the caramel, great. So then I brought over some dairy, non-dairy options because everybody loves ice cream. I don't know anybody that doesn't love ice cream, but so I have found that if I do dairy, I call it turbulence, right? So if you've ever been on an airplane, right, and you've had really bad turbulence, IBS symptoms, congestion, I'll just flare up right away because I stay away from dairy. But usually now, if I have it, I really understand that that's what's causing it. So I brought over some options that are dairy-free, and it was ice cream. We did a coconut-type milk ice cream, and we also did a sorbet. And we did a taste test. We made it fun, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we did a carrot taste test.
And
Yep, with 3 different dippings. Yeah.
Which, it was kind of funny. You're a little bit like, right? But you were open to it,
And then
right?
you also, which was really fun, you also had them do that food challenge with their fruits and vegetables.
Oh.
So just having them focus on that and bring that to the front of their minds to pay attention to those fruits and vegetables. I mean, that in itself is just planting seeds. So even though at that moment they might not want to try that or eat that, you plant that seed, and then we're hoping that it will just catch on more and more. And we know that it takes 7 tries to taste something for a kid to actually even consider it. It takes 7 attempts of trying something before your taste buds palates will adjust to even liking something like that. So if we just keep taking those baby steps, I think there's going to be huge strides that she's only going to benefit as an athlete and as an overall being.
Yeah, and I think, like you're saying, it takes time, to form new habits. We get into these habits, and as you get old, I think it's easier to form new habits in the younger kids, because when you get to be like my age, I just turned 50, it's really tough to change your habits because you're set in your ways.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of research been done on this Juice Plus product, and as kids take it for a period of time, their body chemistry starts to change, and they actually start to crave more fruits and vegetables. That's one of and I'd be more glad to share a link to where you can look at the research. It's been around for 26 years. It is by far, I think, over 40 published clinical research studies on Juice Plus about being bioavailable, cutting back on inflammation, sports-induced oxidative stress, you can name it. So for me, high blood pressure, my blood pressure is normal. I never had to take any medications. I just changed my diet, my lifestyle. So if I could go back and be an athlete, growing up, I would have definitely
No doubt. I wish
made
the same
change.
thing. Yeah, I wish the same thing. Like if we could be, was aware of this when we were athletes, I can't even imagine, what we were capable of. So you're very fortunate to have this experience.
So yeah, I sometimes, like I said, feel like the Grinch. And if you see my waffle maker sometime, you'll see it's the Grinch because I come into these, and I tell the kids I got to give up ice cream. But then I usually find something, right, that I have found that I like and tastes good. And I think you kind of like the coconut one. Mm-hmm. So we'll sample a couple different ones and we'll see which one you like. And then before you know it, we just take away the dairy and we add in the almond milk and we add in maybe coconut ice cream and we find some gluten-free, because not all the gluten-free stuff is out there. And I want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing the gluten-free pasta dinner is because a lot of people get tested for celiac disease, and it's only like 1% is celiac disease, but there's around 30% that's gluten sensitive. So that's why I'm trying to make awareness of this IgG food sensitivity test, and I want to help other kids get that information because a lot of them are dealing with things, and sometimes they can't get the answers, and they're on skin cream or they're taking steroid shots or things of that nature, asthma, respiratory things. They might be taking albuterol or prednisone, and I'm just going to try. Like Dr. Sears has a saying, when you increase your skills, you decrease your pills. And that's my number one thing is I try to help people.
That's our goal too, because you had said that you were 5 for 5, right, for getting kids off their asthma meds.
Yes.
So that is our goal, to hopefully get Cecilia off her asthma medication.
And I can't do it, for them.
Right.
And like Shane was on another episode, and I say I share the info with Shane, it's up to the person to then take control, and they've got to do it. So it's, them, when they make that change and they succeed, it's them doing it. I'm just here to help as a health coach and to keep you on track and encourage you with different things. But yeah, I think it's all about education. I think we need more education than we need medication, and that's all I'm trying to do is help people get that information so that they can feel better. So I want to thank you guys for coming and sharing your story, and I look forward to working with you. When these kids, when I get attached to them, I get attached to them, and I want to see them succeed.
No doubt.
And thanks for sharing today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.